In this video, we are going to go more in depth into color and using color swatches. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the term, a color swatch is basically a sampling of color. And if you've ever had to go to your local hardware store and pick out a paint, you might have looked at one of these color swatches that you can look through to choose the color that you're going for. Now, Photoshop uses color swatches, and we have the swatches panel open on the right hand side, and it's the same thing. It's just a sampling of colors. You can add to this, you can delete from it, and we can actually bring in other swatches from Adobe, and we'll take a look at that. But let's just start with the basics. So we have our color swatch in the tools bar on the left hand side of foreground and background color. If I click on that, you will see that it will bring up our color picker for us, and this gives us a couple different options. The first option is that we can just click out here in the center and choose a color. Now you can see our current color being used, and then you can see the new color that is being picked, and so we can go around and pick out the color that we want. It's currently selected as black, but when we hit OK, it'll change it to red, and then we can adjust this slider and pull up every single color that Photoshop has to offer. So we can go in and pick any of those colors. Now, if you want web-safe colors, meaning colors that are specifically going to look great on websites, because not all websites can handle all colors, we can check that box, and then it's going to give us just those colors that we are 100% certain are going to look good on any web page. So that might be something that you're interested in. Now, as time goes on and web pages become smarter and more robust, this is becoming less of a worry. It used to be a little more important back in the day, but I can tell you now that it's just getting a little easier to see all colors on the web because they're just getting faster and easier read. So we'll unselect that. Then we have some specific options that we can punch in here. So we have our hue, saturation, and brightness values that we can directly manipulate. We have our red, green, and blue values. We have our lab values and our CMYK values. So if you know specifically a color that you're going for, you can come in and change those. So for instance, I know that Photoshop's logo color is 149. Actually, I might have forgot it. 149, 140, and 270, somewhere close to that. And you can see it picks that color for me, and I can type that directly in if I need to. I also have the ability to use the HTML color code. So they have these 6-character color codes starting with the hash mark 318CFF. So if I was creating a web page and I needed that specific code, I would have that here that I could copy and paste also. We can also hit OK. It'll save this out. We can add this color to our swatches, and we can also bring up our color libraries. So if I click Add to Swatches, it'll say, what do you want to call this? We'll just call this Photoshop Blue. I know this isn't completely accurate, but I know the color's close. And we hit OK. And then we go to Swatches, and we scroll down. You will see it's added that blue color in there, and it's given us a color picker. So if we click on that, it'll change our foreground color to that color, and now I can brush or paint or do whatever I want with that color. Another thing on the color picker, let me show you that. So I'm going to click on foreground color again. Whenever I go out into the image, you can see our cursor changes. So I have the arrow, and then now I have what's called the color picker or the eyedropper tool. And basically what this does is it allows us to select the color that we want based on the image. So if I need that yellow there, I can click on that. It'll show us where it is. It'll show us our values. It'll show us the HTML code value. We hit OK, and then now I have that color selected. I could add that to my swatches if I wanted to, or I can use this color right away. So let's go ahead and take a look at the swatches real quick. These are all the swatches that we have loaded or have saved out. You can see all the common ones here. We can color pick any of these swatches and use those, and as I pick them, you will see them change in the foreground color, which means we can currently use them. However, if we click on the menu option, the 3 little lines or 4 little lines on the right hand side, it'll show all the different swatches that we can use and all the different options that we can use. So here we have a whole ton of swatch options. We can reset our swatches, load swatches, and save swatches. So if we make a swatch, We can save those out and bring them into another project. We can replace them. We have a presets manager, and then we have the different thumbnails. So if they're too small, you can make those bigger and see what they look like. Now, if I click on any of these, let's just pick one of the Pantone color swatches here. I click on that. It's going to say, do you want to replace the current swatches with the Pantone solid coated swatch? If we hit OK, and it says save changes to the current swatches before replacing them, we added in that Photoshop blue. It's saying, do you want to save that before we close it? I'm going to hit no. Now, let me make this a little bigger for you. It's brought in all of those Pantone coated swatches. So we have all those different options here. So again, we can select any of these. Let's just pick another one. True match colors. We'll hit OK. And then now you can see all of those have been brought in. So we have a bunch of different options with the swatches. Now if we just pick one, let's say macOS, and then we select another one, but we want to save them together. So I'll pick this one. We can choose append, and append will just add them into our swatches. So instead of replacing them out, we hit append, and then it's added all those in also. If you really wanted to, you could come in here and add you could append every single one of these, and it would get pretty long and monotonous, but you can append as many as you want, and then it'll save all those swatches into your library here for you to choose. So this is a great way for you to come in, create swatches. Again, you have the ability to save them. You can load swatches. If you've saved them out into a separate folder, you can load them up here, and you can choose all of these different swatch options that Photoshop has available for you.